Welcome back. B.S. Yediyurappa appears determined to prove that he can bring down the BJP government in Karnataka or give it his best shot anyway. 9 ministers, all loyal to Yediyurappa, have given their resignations to Chief Minister Sadanand Gowda, which are yet to be accepted. Yediyurappa was forced to quit as Chief Minister last year after a report by the state's ombudsman indicting him for corruption. He picked Gowda as his successor, but lately their relationship has soured, with the protege refusing to oblige his one-time mentor by stepping down.
Ministers, we have tendered resignation to CM Sadanand Gowda and we have pressed to accept it. This is because for the last 3-4 months there has been no real working arrangement between the Chief Minister and few ministers, and there is a lot of complaints of our MLAs regarding their constituencies, and there are so many other issues which are already under the domain of High Command, and since no action has been taken, we are forced to precipitate this action through a resignation, and we have given the resignation to the Honorable CM.
Moving on, India has repeated its assertion that Jindal's information establishes that the 26/11 attacks were made possible because of some state support in Pakistan. Terming Abu Jindal as a key operative who will help in joining missing pieces in the conspiracy, the government said that his interrogation had clearly established now that a control room had been set which had some kind of state support.
But it's quite clear that Abu Jindal was a key operative. He was assigned the key responsibility of putting the 10 selected cadres through intensive training in Hindi and the customs followed by Mumbaikars. He was perhaps the key person who briefed the 10 cadres, including Kasab, and he had an important role to play in the control room. His interrogation is now established beyond doubt that there was a control room, that besides him there were several persons present in the control room, and that the control room had clearly some kind of state support.
Responding to Pakistani Interior Minister Rahman Malik's statement that Jindal is an Indian and was caught in India, the Home Minister said that he did agree but added that it is also a fact Jindal went to Pakistan and trained the group which executed the Mumbai terror attacks.
Abu Jindal is an Indian. Abu Jindal was perhaps radicalized in India. So I admit that. Equally, I think Pakistan should admit that Abu Jindal did go to Pakistan, that Abu Jindal was part of the group which trained and prepared Kasab and 9 others, that Abu Jindal was in the control room among one of the handlers and masterminds of the attack. So just as we admit facts, Pakistan should also admit facts.
They gave a passport to Abu Jindal. They should also admit the fact that they gave 2 identity cards to Abu Jindal. They should also admit the fact that they claimed that Abu Jindal was a Pakistani with the Saudis.
Abu Jindal, the 26/11 handler man who helped Kasab and other terrorists, is revealing more and more information during interrogation. His questioning has revealed that he used social networking sites to recruit new operatives. Jindal used social networking to recruit bombers for the Lashkar. He had 9 Facebook and email accounts. Jindal used the accounts for terror scouting in Saudi Arabia and India. During interrogation, Jindal has also revealed that post-26/11 operations, the headquarters of Lashkar was shifted to Dubai near POK from Muzaffarabad, and that after Lakwi's arrest, Muzammil was taking calls as the chief of the terror outfit. On to another story that has been creating headlines for a few days now. The Punjab Assembly welcomed the release of Surjit Singh, who returned home yesterday after spending 31 years in a Pakistan jail, and urged the centre to take steps to secure the release of Sarabjit Singh, languishing in Lahore jail for the last 20 years. The resolution, seconded by the leader of opposition Sunil Jakhar of the Congress, welcomed the steps taken to improve the Indo-Pak relations, which would benefit the people of the state. Meanwhile, Congress member Rana Gurmeet Singh Sodhi said that the financial condition of Surjit Singh is bad and that he should be helped by the state government.
मैं तहे दिल से शुक्रिया अदा करती हूं अपने बादल साहब और पूरी कैबिनेट का, जिन्होंने कि इस तरह से ये दुख के समय में जो ये प्रस्ताव पास करके भेजा है, और मैं उम्मीद करती हूं कि उसके ऊपर जरूर अमल किया जाएगा। हमारी भारत सरकार भी उस पर अमल करेगी और पाकिस्तान जो है, जब चारों ओर से उनके पास ये अपील्स जाएंगी कि सरबजीत को रिहा किया जाए, तो वे जरूर इसमें नरमी बरतेंगे।
Actor Salman Khan has joined the chorus to free Sarabjit. He tweeted, and I quote, requesting the people of Pakistan to support me to help free Sarabjit, who has been in prison since 30 years. Saw a picture of Sarabjit's sister, it killed me. Felt real sad for her, help me help her. Moving on, Chief Economic Advisor at the Finance Ministry Kaushik Basu has said that he hopes the economy will bounce back in 3 or 4 months. He reasoned that calculations indicated an improvement in the economic situation from October this year. He admitted that there was an element of trust problems between industry and government, but said that it was being worked on. Basu had controversially said at a meeting in the US in April this year that major economic reforms in India were unlikely to happen before the next parliamentary elections slated for 2014.
I don't think that because of the reorganization you're going to see a boost. But there are strengths in the economy which we have been working to capitalize on. Again, as I said, that over the last 6 months actually we've been working a lot behind the scenes to capitalize on that. It's true that we are all hopeful that the economy is going to bounce back within 4 or 5 months. I mean, it's October. As I said, that before that, I can't realistically say that there will be an improvement, but October onwards. And we want to work hand in hand with industry. There is an element of trust problem between industry and government that has happened. But over the last several months, we were trying to correct it, and we will continue to correct this as much as possible in the coming months.
It is very strange that economic advisor Mr. Basu goes on speaking such things. Actually, the Congress-led UPA 2 government has betrayed the people and the nation by pursuing disastrous neoliberal economic policies. The Congress-led UPA 2 government has completely failed to control the prices, to contain inflation. And Congress-led UPA 2 government should be held responsible for such a bad economic situation today we have in this country.
The 30-share BSE Sensex soared to the highest point of the day on sustained buying interest supported by global cues and a turnaround in domestic sentiments. The Sensex and Nifty traded with over 2% gains and were the top gainers among Asian markets. European stocks maintained morning gains on the back of the agreement to use the continent's permanent bailout fund to recapitalize struggling banks. Onto the Air India pilot strike, the standoff between the management and the striking pilots continues to intensify, with the pilots' hunger strike entering day 6. As the health of the pilots deteriorates and with no end to the stalemate in sight, pilots' families have written to the Prime Minister and Sonia Gandhi to intervene. The development comes a day after the pilots' families met Air India CMD Rohit Nandan today and asked him to take steps to break the impasse.
आज इनका 3rd डे है, इन्होंने अभी तक कुछ नहीं खाया है और ये क्या पूरा फैमिली परेशान है, बच्चे परेशान हैं, सेकंड से स्कूल भी खुल रहे हैं, स्ट्राइक की वजह से सैलरी नहीं है, उससे पहले से भी सैलरी नहीं आ रही है एंड गवर्नमेंट मिनिस्टर साहब चले गए लंदन, तो इशू सॉल्व नहीं हो रहे हैं जो ये चाह रहे हैं ये लोग। कल पेरेंट्स मिलने भी गए थे सीएमडी से, वहाँ पे भी कुछ बात नहीं बढ़ी है।
2-3 लोग हैं जिनका बीपी जो है बहुत कुछ लोगों का ज़्यादा जा रहा है और कुछ लोगों का लो हो रहा है, मतलब गोइंग बिलो देन नॉर्मल, एंड कुछ लोगों की पल्स जो है इंक्रीज हो रही है, मीन्स दे आर वीक, दे आर गोइंग टू द क्रिटिकल कंडीशन। इसमें मिस्टर अंशित भारद्वाज, मनीष।
In a major crackdown, at least 22 Maoists were killed in 2 separate encounters with Central Security Forces in Chhattisgarh. The bodies of 16 Maoists were found, 2 of them who sustained injuries were also captured. The first encounter, which took place at Basagura, began at around 12:30 a.m. and ended early this morning. Two teams of the Central Reserve Police Force launched the operation against the Naxals from two different directions. 6 CRPF Jawans, including 2 Cobra commandos, sustained bullet injuries, 2 of them being critical. They were airlifted to the state capital Raipur for medical aid along with the 2 arrested Maoists. The operation is being considered a huge success for security forces given the high casualty figure of the Maoists.
This was a planned operation by the CRPF and the state police based on information. And the CRPF was subjected to very heavy fire. And our estimate is maybe there were 45 armed cadres on the side of the adversary. CRPF and state police forces returned the fire. The initial casualties were on the side of the CRPF. 6 CRPF personnel suffered serious bullet injuries, of whom 2 are still very critical. 16 bodies have been recovered from the location, and we think that of the 2 who died in the encounter and 1 who died on the way to the hospital, these 3 are important local leaders of the Naxals.
We did suggest to Chhattisgarh government to withhold armed action on both the sides, and we have also been insisting that they have to address the basic problems of the Bastar tribals, and not the Maoist movement is only a manifestation of the deeper crisis of the Bastar. The Bastar, which was otherwise peaceful, and a Bastar which is full of resources, and Bastar tribals are very innocent tribals, and they have been giving their own life, and we made deep inroads, and we are interested only in the mineral wealth of the Chhattisgarh and not the tribals. We want to uproot them and then rob the mineral wealth. In fact, we did mention this to Raman Singh, that why he is allowing multinational corporations and corporate world to recklessly mine the resources in Chhattisgarh.
On to the monsoons making news. While deficient in North and South India, it has been raining incessantly in Assam. The Brahmaputra and its tributaries are flowing above the danger mark, breaching embankments at several places, affecting almost 4 lakh people across 19 districts of the state. 22 people have died in the flood havoc, including a 7-year-old child, and 14 have been buried in landslides. National highways in many places are underwater, and the railway line connecting to South Assam and Barak Valley has been cut off. National parks and wildlife sanctuaries are inundated, and animals have escaped to the highlands. The Prime Minister has announced an ex gratia for the victims and have asked the army to be on high alert, extending all central assistance.
We have given 16 teams. They are working there. We have given helicopters. I have also been in touch with the Chief Secretary. I have told the Chief Secretary that anything more, any additional assistance which he wants will be given.
It's another short break on News Tonight. Stay tuned to the other end.